These scriptures bringing these laws to remembrance. Ya'oh says only a remnant gon' hit a call, but are you chosen? Yashai-Ya'oh that gon' test the hearts of those who join him. So you can find me standing with those who wish to keep the commandments, and at war with all those who say we can't do, only examine. I was just like you, I played the fool, the lure by propaganda, asking questions led me to Ya'oh. No one else had the answer. Halalo av Ya'oh, sorry, waga'a, let's hide the bar. When you see all these obstacles in front of you, just depart. Halalo av Ya'oh, sorry, waga'a, let's hide the bar. When you can break these scriptures down and actually save your brother's heart. So just hold off on popping champagne. We still here in the fire. Being correct throughout our campaign shows what Ya'oh
Hachresho ale e'em, Wula'amem yachle pochach, Yagasho, az Yadabar Yachado lamashpat nakaraba. Meha'er mamazrak sadak, Yakaraho laragalo, Yathan lapaneo go'em wa malachem, Yarad, Yathan rachapar charabo, Chakash nadab kashato, Yaradap am yabar shalom, Arach bar ragaleo la yabo, Me pa wa rasha, Kar hadaroth mara'ash, Ane Ya'oh, Ra'ashon wa'af acharanem, Aneho, Ra'o e'em, Waye Ra'o katzot ha'aratz, Yacharado karabo wa ya'atheon. Shalom Ya'oh Shar'al, B'matrei mashna u'ba'golam. La madabarim wa shamayim shapah ha'barora, Ane Ya'oh da bandor ha'chet, wa nachanete chorash, Rabad Ya'oh ish katzato, ma'mazrach ma'aratz marachak. Gam ane kol kor b'madbar, pano darach Ya'oh, yasharo ba garaba masla la Allah eno, za ane, wa akar basapa hanabe Yashai-Ya'oh, parak arba'in wa achad, mator achad, rator chamash. I just read from the book of Yashai-Ya'oh the prophet. His name is Yashai-Ya'oh, not Isaiah in the filthy heathen language. Yashai-Ya'oh is how you pronounce his name in the pure language. It means Ya'oh has saved. Ya'oh has saved. And this was chapter 41, verses 1 to 5. And this will be a 4-part series. This video, if you know me, I like to keep my videos short and sweet. So in this video, we will cover verses 1 to 5. In the next video will be verses 6 to 14. Then in part 3, verses 15 to 24. And the final video, the 4th installment, will be verses 25 to 29. So without any further ado, let's break down each word of this chapter and correct the mistranslations and the misinterpretations that have been offered by the heathens that are floating around out there now. First word, hachresho. Hachresho. This is an imperative verb addressed to the second person masculine plural. Dabar matzo bashapa habarora. A dabar matzo, an imperative, is a command word of the second person. It is a word you use when you want to tell someone, a second party, to do something. Hachresho is from the verbal root charasha, charash, which in the causative verb stem, or shablat ha, as we refer to the causative stem in the pure language, it means to be quiet, to keep silent, to stand down. The imperative hachresho in the causative means cause yourselves to be silent, or keep quiet. Next word, ale. Ale. This is a preposition al, meaning to or before, combined with a pronominal suffix in the first person, common singular, me. Ale means to me or before me. Hachresho ale, cause yourselves to keep quiet before me. Next word, am. Am. This is the plural masculine noun meaning islands. Hachresho ale am. Keep quiet before me, islands. Thus, these islands, we don't know who they are yet, but these islands are the second person to whom the direct command, hachresho, is being given. They are being ordered by the speaker, who is Ya'oh, to keep quiet before him. And the reason why is given in the clause that follows. Wala'amem yachlepochach. Wala'amem yachlepochach. And the people, let them renew power. The first word in this clause, wala'amem, the letter wa is the conjunction and, then the word la'amem after this is the plural noun for people. The next word is a adjussive verb, which is a command of the third person, and this verb belongs to the causative stem, third person masculine plural, and in the imperfect aspect, yach lepo, let them renew. From the verbal root cha la pa, chalap, which means to change, to transform. The last word in this clause is the noun chach in the singular absolute, which means strength or power. Wa la'amem yachlepo chach. And the people, let them renew power. The islands are being ordered to be quiet, to stand down and to not interfere, so that the people of Ya'oh may go to these islands and renew their power there. They will be changed and transformed in these islands and go from being weak and powerless to strong and powerful. These islands where this transformation is to take place are commanded by Ya'oh to let it happen right under their noses and in their own backyard. The next word is its own clause by itself. Yagasho. Yagasho. This is an imperfect verb in the third person masculine plural of the basic stem from the verbal root nagash, which means to approach. It is a weak verb that begins with the letter na, and that letter is dropping out in the imperfect aspects. Yagasho means they will approach. The next word is an adverb, az, which means then. After this, we have another verb, yadabaro. Yadabaro. This is a strong verb in the intensified stem, third person masculine plural, from the root dabar, which means to speak or to say. Yadabaro in the imperfect aspect means they will speak. Az yadabaro means then they will speak. The subject of this verb is the people who will renew power on the islands. The next word is yachado. Yachado, which is an adverb which means together, united, or unified. Az yadabaro, then they will speak, tells us that the people have something they wish to say. Then yachado is the first word that the people speak. After this, we have la mashpat. La mashpat. The la is a preposition and definite article preceding the noun mashpat, which means judgment. The last word in verse 1, nakaraba, nakaraba, is a cohortative verb in the imperfect aspect, which means it is a command of the first person in the common gender and plural number. And it means, let us come near. Let us come near, from the verbal root karab, which means to draw near. So that's each word of verse 1 of Yashai-Ya'oh chapter 41, parsed out with every grammatical feature accounted for and explained. Now, I despise the English language because it's the language of my people's former slave masters. I hate the fact that I have to use it in my videos or else people will not understand what I'm saying. I also hate translations of the scriptures into any language. I don't need them. I speak and read the pure language fluently. But if we have to translate this verse into the filthy heathen English language, then the literal translation, and I mean the verbatim word-for-word translation, is this: keep quiet before me, islands, and the people let them renew power. They will approach, then they will speak, together for the judgment let us come near. So what does it mean? The speaker is Ya'oh via his prophet Yashai-Ya'oh. The speaker is handing down an order to a group of nameless islands to stand down, to be quiet, and to allow another people to come to their islands so that they may renew their power in those islands. They are coming. This is not a request. They are coming whether these islands like it or not. And the people who are coming, although they arrive weak and powerless, they are going to be transformed into a strong and powerful people while they are there. They speak as one. They come united. They are all on the same page in terms of what they believe and what they are setting out to do. They come to establish the mashpat, the judgment, which means they are coming to create an area, a boundary within which the judgment of Ya'oh is supreme. That means an area where the tabernacle of Ya'oh is built and where all of his laws, statutes, and commandments are kept to the letter. That's why they come. They come to reestablish the covenant and to keep it. Now, I have taken the time to go over in detail the literal word-for-word meaning of this verse. The heathen interpretations of this verse, on the other hand, and when I say heathen, I mean the European Christian and Jewish interpretations of this verse, the interpretations that they offer border on the mentally retarded. And I know this is the hand of Ya'oh. The heathen Bible interpreters would have us believe that this verse is some kind of challenge made by the Creator to all the nations of the world to muster up their strength and to come together to try to justify their idolatry before him. Don't ask me how they reached that conclusion. I don't care. But if you look up Christian and Jewish commentaries of this verse, this is the nonsense that you will find. The exact phrase used at the beginning of this verse, Yach-lepochach, let them renew power, has already been used by the prophet Yashai-Ya'oh in the previous chapter, chapter 40 and verse 31. Ya'oh yach-lepochach, yailo abachan asharim. And those who wait on Ya'oh, let them renew power. They will mount up the wing like eagles. What does that mean? Does it mean that one day those who are waiting on Ya'oh will have superpowers and fly through the sky like Superman does in the comic books and in the movies? No, that's not what it means. It means that Ya'oh is going to put his people on airplanes and fly them like eagles fly to the islands that we have been reading about. And after his people land and take up residence in these islands, then their power as a people will be renewed because they will be transformed into a righteous and holy nation, a nation that loves Ya'oh with its whole heart and keeps every single word of his covenant. Verse 2, first clause. Meha'er mamazrach tzadak. Meha'er mamazrach tzadak. First word, me. This is the interrogative particle meaning who. Ya'oh is beginning to ask a rhetorical question here. Next word, ha'er. Ha'er. This is a verb in the causative stem in the perfect aspect, third person masculine singular. Ha'er means has awakened. From the root ra, wa, and ra, pronounced gor, which means to stir up, to rouse up, to wake up. Next word, ma mazrach. This is the preposition particle ma, meaning from, prefixed to the noun mazrach, which means east. Ma mazrach means from the east. Next word, tzadak. Tzadak. This is a masculine noun in the singular number and the absolute state. Tzadak means the righteous man. It's a singular masculine noun following an interrogative who, not what, so it can have no other meaning than the righteous man. Thus, Meha'er mamazrach tzadak means who has awakened from the east the righteous man. Next word, Yakara-ho. Yakara-ho. This is a verb in the basic stem in the imperfect aspect, third person masculine singular, with the object of the verb attached at the end in the form of a pronominal suffix for third person masculine singular. Yakara-ho means he will call him. The subject of the verb is Ya'oh, the one asking the question, and the object of the verb is the righteous man whom Ya'oh has awakened and stirred up from the east. Next word, la regalo. La regalo. This is the preposition la, meaning to, prefix to the singular feminine noun regal in the construct state, meaning foot, with the pronominal suffix for third person masculine singular, his. La regalo means to his foot. Next word, yathan. Yathan. This is a verb in the basic stem again in the imperfect aspect, third person masculine singular, from the root nathan, which means to give. Yathan means he will give, and the subject of the verb is still Ya'oh. Next word, la paneo. La paneo. This is the preposition and definite article la, meaning to the, prefix to the noun pane in the construct state, meaning face of, and with a pronominal suffix for third person masculine singular at the end, him. La paneo means to the face of him or before him. Next word, go aim. Go aim. This is the masculine plural noun in the absolute state, meaning people, not heathen nations. It just means people. And as we will see from the context, it must mean the people of Ya'oh Shar'al, aka the Israelites. Next word, wa malachim. Wa malachim. The first letter wa is the conjunction and, prefix to the masculine plural noun in the absolute state, meaning kings or rulers. Wa malachim means and kings or and rulers. Next word, yarad. Yarad. This is a verb in the causative stem and the imperfect aspect, third person masculine singular, from the root ra, da, and ha, pronounced rada, meaning to rule or to govern. Yarad in the causative stem and the imperfect aspect means he will cause to govern. The subject of the verb, the one causing, is Ya'oh, and the object of the verb, The one who will govern is the righteous man who has been awakened in the east. Next word is Yathan again, and we already said this means he will give, and the subject of the verb is Ya'oh, the giver. After this, we have cha-rapar. This is the particle of similarity prefix cha, meaning like, followed by the noun rapar, which means dirt or dust. Cha-rapar means like dirt. Next word is charabo. Charabo. This is the feminine singular noun in the construct state, meaning sword, with a possessive pronominal suffix for third person masculine singular, his or him. Charabo means the sword of him or his sword. So the expression Yathan cha-rapar charabo means he will give like dirt his sword. The meaning is that Ya'oh, who is the subject of the verb Yathan, will make this righteous man's opposition to be like dirt to his sword. What chance does dirt have against a sword? None. None whatsoever. Next word is chakash. Chakash. This is the particle of similarity again, cha, meaning like, followed by the noun kash in the singular absolute, which means stubble or chaff. Chakash means like chaff. After this, we have the active participle, nadap, which is a noun, not a verb, but it is derived from the verb na-da-pa, pronounced nadap, which means to drive away. The active participle nadap means the one who drives away. The final word of this second verse, kashatho. Kashatho is the feminine singular noun kashath, meaning bow, in the construct state, with a possessive pronominal suffix for third person masculine singular his. Kashatho means the bow of him or his bow. Chakash nadap kashatho means like chaff, the one who drives away his bow. The sense and the meaning here is that Ya'oh will make this righteous man's opposition to be like chaff that his bow drives away with ease. What chance does chaff and stubble have against an archer's bow? The answer is none. None whatsoever. That's each word of verse 2 of Yashai-Ya'oh chapter 41 parsed out with every grammatical feature accounted for and explained. Now here is the verbatim, word-for-word translation in the filthy heathen's English. Who has awakened from the east the righteous man? He will call him to his foot. He will give before him people and rulers. He will make him rule. He will give like dirt his sword, like chaff the one driving away his bow. So what does it mean? What does this verse mean? Well, for starters, let's point out that it's easy to lose sight of the fact that the focus of this verse is really on the subject of the verbs, not the object of those verbs. The subject of the verbs is Ya'oh. He is the one asking the rhetorical question, who has awakened from the east the righteous man? The answer to that question is, of course, him. He is the one who has awakened from the east the righteous man, whoever he is. He is the one who will call this righteous man, whoever he is, to his foot, meaning to stand up and to do what he was called to do by Ya'oh. He is the one who will make people and rulers submit to this righteous man's leadership, whoever he is. He is the one who will make this righteous man, whoever he is, to govern and rule. He is the one who will turn the opposition of this righteous man, whoever he is, to be like dust before his sword and like chaff driven away by his bow. Ya'oh is clearly the focus here, not the work of his hands, not his creation. But as for his creation, the heathen Bible interpreters want you to believe that the Tzaddik, the righteous man of this verse, is the heathen king Cyrus of Persia, who lived in the 6th century BCE. This despite the fact that Cyrus was not a Tzaddik. He was not a righteous man, according to the way we would determine righteousness by Torah. Cyrus was a hardcore pagan idol worshiper. The god Cyrus served, in his own words, from his own inscriptions, was the pagan Babylonian god Marduk. That was Cyrus's lord. He never acknowledged the deity of Ya'oh as his lord, ever. Marduk was the supreme deity according to Cyrus, not the deity Ya'oh. Again, these are his own words, not mine. And here is proof from the famous Cyrus Cylinder, which he authored in Babylon in the year 539 BCE. And I quote, Marduk, The exalted is the Lord of the gods. He called out his name, Cyrus, king of Anshan. He pronounced his name to be king all over the world. Marduk is the great Lord, and I daily attend to his worship. The Cyrus Cylinder, lines 10, 12, and 23. Now, my question to you, the viewer, is this. Can any false god of the heathens raise up anyone to be a tzaddik in the eyes of Ya'oh the Almighty? The answer is no. If you said yes, you're on the wrong channel and you should let yourself out. Is the false god Cyrus served, Mardouchbag, is he the subject of the verbs in verse 2? Clearly not. That's because this verse is not talking about Cyrus or his pagan idol god. That's strike one. Here is strike two. Cyrus of Persia did not become a governor of foreign kings. Cyrus dethroned foreign kings. He did not allow any foreign king to keep his throne. But this prophecy states that the righteous man awakened from the east, whoever he is, will govern people and rulers. He won't face opposition from any VIP or from anyone who actually matters. Instead, his opposition will come from dirt and from chaff, which can only mean from unimportant people and petty leaders who are easily swept to the side and driven away. That's strike three, you're out. Why strike three? Because even though Cyrus of Persia was a great conqueror, he was killed in battle by the Massagetæ in present-day Uzbekistan, and his war against them was a complete and utter failure. Unlike Cyrus, the righteous man of this prophecy is never defeated. There are 0 losses on his record. So this man cannot possibly be Cyrus, no matter what heathen Bible interpreters say. Mena or mamazrach laheot sadak. Meho. Aneho. Lama. La kar adsham bor hashamem wa haaratz. Ma shamo. Shamo Ya'oh. Shamo Ya'oh za shamo. Wa ma balaido ain Allah aim. Verse 3, first word. Ya radap-am. Ya radap-am. Ya radap-am. This is an imperfect verb meaning a future tense verb in the basic stem third person masculine singular with a pronominal suffix for third person masculine plural as the object of the verb. Ya radap-am is from the verbal root ra-da-pa, radap, which means to chase, to follow, to pursue. Ya radap-am means he will pursue them. He will pursue them. Next word, Yaibar. Yaibar. This is an imperfect verb in the basic stem again, third person masculine singular from the root ra-ba-ra, ghabar, which means to pass over, to pass on. Yaibar means he will pass on. He will pass on. Next word, Shalom. Shalom, not shalom. This word is pronounced shalom. If you say shalom or even shalom, I'm going to have to ask you to leave. Unless Shazam is a real person, there has never been any such word as shalom or shalom or shalom. These pronunciations are coming from ignorant people who do not have an education and do not know anything about Northwest Semitic and Afro-Asiatic languages. I'm sorry if that offends you, but it's true. Actually, I'm not sorry. Sue me. In this verse, the word shalom is not a greeting. It is the masculine singular noun in the absolute state, meaning safely, peacefully, unharmed, unscathed, uninjured, etc., etc. Next word, arach. Arach. Masculine singular noun, absolute state. It means road or pathway. Next word, ba ragaleo. Ba ragaleo. This is the inseparable preposition ba prefix, meaning by, followed by the feminine dual noun in the construct state, ragale, which means feet of, and then we have a pronominal suffix for possession in the third person masculine singular. Ba ragaleo means by the feet of him or by his feet. The next word, la, is the negative particle meaning not. The last word in this verse is yabo. Yabo. This is a verb in the imperfect or future tense, basic stem, third person masculine singular, from the verbal root ba, wa, and a, pronounced bo, which means come. And Yabo means he will come. He will come. Putting it all together, Yaradapam Yaba Shalom, Arach Baragaleo La Yabo. And this is the translation into the filthy heathen English. He will pursue them. He will pass over safely. A path by his feet, not will he come. So what does this verse mean? In the previous verse 2, we learn that the opposition of the tzedak, the righteous man, is like dirt and chaff to him, easy victories. Now we are told in verse 3 that he will pursue them without anyone being able to bring him down. He passes over safely without suffering any injury. They run and he chases them. On the face of it, it sounds like Alexander the Great, who campaigned for 15 years straight and never lost a single battle. Cyrus of Persia, on the other hand, he lost a battle, and he lost his own life in that battle. Not only that, but it was a female, a warrior queen, who cut off Cyrus's head. Since this verse is not talking about the heathen king, Alexander the Great, who never lost a single battle in his life, it also cannot be talking about the heathen king, Cyrus of Persia, who was beheaded by a woman, which is one of the worst forms of humiliation a sovereign could suffer. Being defeated is one thing. Being killed and beheaded by a female is a whole other thing. That's a whole nother level of humiliation. And what about the next clause? Arach Baragaleo La Yabo. A path by his feet, not will he come. What does that mean? It does not mean that this man will never travel down a road physically. He does go by a road in pursuit of his opposition, but the kind of road he uses in order to pursue his opposition and to pass over safely is not a literal road. This man is not on foot or on horseback. He is not marching and leading armies on the ground or in the air or on the high seas, all of which require literal roads and pathways. This one expression, a path by his feet, not will he come, it rules out that the tzedak, the righteous man in question, the one awakened in the East, can be identified with any historical king. Why? Because all of the kings of ancient times used literal roads, conventional roads, or inaccessible roads in all of their conquests. But the man who this verse is talking about, he pursues and crushes his opposition by using a road that did not exist until modern times. Not until the first day of the second month in the year 7222, which was Friday, April 30th, 1993, in the heathen's pagan calendar. The whole world is using this road today, but no one is ever using it with their feet. Therefore, whoever the tzedak is, the righteous man in the East, he cannot come on the scene and crush people, crush his opposition, prior to the introduction of this road in 1993. Meradap ath abeo wa rabar shalom. Me yabar arach wala baragaleo. Meho. Aneho. Verse 4, first clause. Me pa wa rasha. Me pa wa rasha. The first word is me, and we've already discussed this word in verse 2. It is the question word who. Next word, pile. Pile. This is a verb in the perfect aspect or past tense in the basic stem, third person masculine singular. Pile means has acted, has worked, or has wrought. Next word, wa rasha. Wa rasha. The letter wa is the wa reversal, which is when the prefix letter wa is flipping the tense of the verb. And the verb in this case is rasha, which means made or done in the perfect aspect, third person masculine singular. Wa rasha means and will do. The first two verbs in this clause are juxtaposed. The first verb is looking back into the past, and the second is looking forward into the future. Me pa wa rasha. Who has acted and will do? Another rhetorical question. The answer is Ya'oh. He is the one who has acted in the past and will do in the future. Next word, car. Car. This is the active participle, which is a noun, masculine gender, singular number, absolute state, and it means the one calling, the one calling. Next word, ha-daroth, ha-daroth. This is the definite article ha prefix, meaning the, followed by the plural noun daroth, which means generations. Next word, ma-ra'ash, ma-ra'ash. This is the preposition particle ma, meaning from, prefix to the noun ra'ash, which means head, first, or beginning. Ma-ra'ash means from the beginning. The next two words are Yashai-Ya'oh, which is the first person pronoun ane, which means me or I, and then the divine proper name Ya'oh. This time he is answering his own question. Next word, ra'ashon, ra'ashon, which is the masculine adjective, singular number, absolute state, meaning first. Next word, wa'ath, wa'ath. This is the conjunction wa, meaning and, prefix to the preposition ath, which means with. Wa'ath means and with, and with. Next word, acharanem, acharanem. This is the masculine adjective, plural number, absolute state, which means last ones, the last ones. The final two words are aneho, aneho, which is the first person common pronoun ane, meaning I or me, and the third person masculine singular pronoun ho, which means he. Aneho means I am he. Putting it all together, me pa wa kasha, kahadaroth mara'ash, Yashai-Ya'oh, ra'ashon wa'ath acharanem, aneho. And here is the filthy heathen English translation. Who has acted and who will do? The one calling the generations from the beginning. Me, Ya'oh, first and with the last ones. I am he. Why is this verse here? Seems to be out of place, but it's not. It's not here just for the deity to make a boast about how great and powerful he is. The prophet put it here so that the reader may know who is responsible for everything that we have read from verse 1 to verse 4. Ya'oh is in complete control of the bloodline of his people. He manipulates and determines what happens to them. He determined what would happen to the last generations of his people at the time of the first generation of his people. And verses 1 to 4 are talking about the last generations and what will happen to them before they happen. Ya'oh is the one who prepared a group of islands to be receptive of his people in the last days so that they can go there and renew their power. Ya'oh is also the one who woke up from the east, the Tzedak, the righteous man. He also belongs to the last generations. And since he will be located in the east, that is where those nameless islands must also be located. The people are going there because he is there, because Ya'oh put him there to be their leader. They are going from one end of earth to the other end in the far east to be led by a man that has been raised up by Ya'oh, and Ya'oh is calling it before it happens. Verse 5, first word, ra'oh, ra'oh. This is a verb in the perfect aspect, basic stem, third person, masculine plural, from the root ra'aha, ra'ah, which means to see, to look. Ra'oh means they saw. The next word is aim, which we have already seen and defined as islands, and this is the subject of the previous verb ra'oh. After this we have wayera'oh, wayera'oh. This is the conjunction wa for and, prefix to the verb in the imperfect aspect, the basic stem, third person, masculine plural, from the verbal root ya, ra, ah, pronounced yar, which means to fear, to revere. Wayera'oh means, and they will be reverent. And they will be reverent. Next word, katsoth, katsoth. This is a noun, common gender, in the plural construct state. The meaning is the ends of. The ends of. Next word, ha-aratz. This is the definite article prefix ha, meaning the, followed by the noun aratz, which means earth. Next word, ya-charado, ya-charado. This is a verb in the imperfect aspect, basic stem, third person, masculine plural, from the verbal root cha-ra-da, charad, which means to shake or to tremble. Next word, karabo. Karabo. This is a verb in the perfect aspect, basic stem, third person, masculine plural, from the verbal root karab, which means to draw near. Karabo means they drew near. Last word, wa ya'atheon. Wa ya'atheon. The wa conjunctive in this instance has the meaning of the adverb indeed, prefixed to an imperfect verb in the basic stem, third person, masculine plural, from the verbal root a-tha-ha, pronounced atha, which means to come. The verb has a superlative sound or paragogic suffix letter na at the very end for emphasis. Wa ya'atheon means indeed they will surely come. This verb and the previous verb take us back to the verb nakaraba in verse 1, let us draw near, let us come near. The subject of all three of these verbs is the same, the people, la'amem, the people who are coming to the islands to renew their power. Putting it all together, ra'o'e'em, wa ye'ra'o, katsoth ha'arat yacharado, karabo, wa ya'atheon. And here is the translation into the filthy heathen English language. The islands saw, and they will be reverent. The ends of the earth trembled. They drew near, indeed, they will surely come. Who are these islands in verse 5? Obviously, the same islands mentioned in verse 1. The islands in the east, where the Tzadok is located, and where the remnant of Ya'oh's people are headed to reestablish the covenant their fathers made with Ya'oh, to lay the foundations of their kingdom, which will take back the promised land in the Levant once their power has been renewed in the islands. Ya'oh will transform his remnant people, the ones who he has arranged to fly to the islands on the wing of eagles. He will transform them from a wretched and needy band of exiles into a thriving and vibrant black nation in the islands of the sea at the end of earth, in the far east where the sun rises, the place where his name is now being reproclaimed by a ravenous bird. I'm not calling them black just because I'm black. I'm calling them black because the prophet Yashai-Ya'oh literally calls them that in chapter 42 and verse 11. Ya'oh knew from the beginning that one day the skin color of his people, the color they were from the very start, would one day be a curse to them. So he had his prophet Yashai-Ya'oh predict the reversal of that curse centuries in advance. His people are Kadar, black-skinned, and he has been manipulating their generations in order for a desired outcome, which he planned from the beginning to happen. And it's happening now as we speak.